Hi there, we're back again. We've got so much to share. We could be here all day, actually. We're on a bit of a roll. Notice the same clothes, which is like, yay, let's do more. It's all coming through. Well, one thing that I really wanted to share today, and I'm sure you have something to say about this as well, because we've experienced a lot of it, is separation. When we incarnate into our bodies, we become human, right? And that immediately implies a degree of separation. Yeah, we're no longer in the spirit world. This is how I understand things, or as souls which are all encompassing and we're all united up there in these very high frequencies. We are now in a denser frequency in our physical bodies, and this implies separation. This brings geography into play. It brings time into play. It brings space into play. And these can be very difficult for people to manage and accept, especially when, in our case, we're often separated because Terry has his family in Malaysia and us, me and our daughter, here in England. So there's a lot of toing and froing, a lot of hellos and goodbyes, a lot of separation. But we were told once by a very wise, beloved person that distance doesn't equal separation. And when she told me that, I was like, oh my God, I'm there. It just felt so empowering. Those words really strengthened me, and they gave me the courage to have this scenario where we are sometimes living in the same country and sometimes on the opposite sides of the world. And it's true that when you overcome the physicality of being human, and it's only really with the help of the heart and the mind that we can do this. Yes, we're not in the same place physically sometimes for long periods of time, but our heart is, and our minds are. And I say this to our daughter. I say, just because Dad is on the other side of the world doesn't mean that his love is any the less. You may not be able to hug him. You may not be able to have those morning conversations together when he drives you to school, but you can have them, luckily, on internet. We're very lucky now with all these modern technology. But even without modern technology, the heart is there. The love is almost greater, actually. Yeah. So the ethers bring us together. We still exist in the ethers. And so there is no real separation when you think of it like that. When you remove the body and the physicality of our being human, and actually everything else, the emotions, the heart, the thoughts, are still there. Yeah, that's my take on separation, and that's how I empower myself a day before Terry has to go off to the other side of the world.
So here's exactly where I'm on the other side of the world. I remember the last 6 months when I was away from Rosalind and our daughter. I spent the mornings waking up and imagining what I would be doing with them. And it was 6 months of being separated. And when I arrived here after 6 months, I didn't realize that subconsciously I was doing all the very things I imagined doing. I started to cook better for them. I started to want to go for walks more often. I started imagining where we'd go for walks. I started to do the little things that, nobody bothers in terms of it's nothing great, but they were just mundane little things, but meant a lot to me, meant a lot to us as a couple. So these are sort of the little hacks that I learned being alone in Malaysia, and I think it can apply to anybody, because then you look forward to experiencing those things that you had imagined, and those things basically crept into my subconscious, and it came out beautifully.
Yes, and you manifest them very well. That's a little trick for manifesting, actually. And all those thoughts about you cooking for us, for example, have materialized in the most amazing meals. Terry has become the most amazing chef, and we've seen it sort of just transpire over the last 6 months together. Beautiful noodle dishes and yumminess. And it's also a lot to do with love, but we'll talk about that on another video. But the love that he puts into his food, we eat, and it tastes better. Bye for now.